Okay, we are working on our PC rack today. Because I had to put some stuff on hold because we're working on new screen paints and we had to start working on our 235.1 frame. I want to do the base different. Definitely want to do the base a little different. That's definitely the part of it. I'm individually taping it down. This is probably going to require that. Alright, so basically, these had interesting names for them. Back when I was coming up, it was called a torture rack, because all the parts were exposed. Now today they call them something different. They call them open benches or open racks and stuff like that. It's all different sorts of types of racks are designed for if you want to expose all your PC parts. I like having my parts exposed. Number one, it's so much easier to get to your stuff because it's out there in the open. And they use them for test benches and all that stuff like that. But they sell these as open racks that you can go in and you can basically expose all your parts, have everything out in the open. Now, for me, I found these little racks over at a convenience store. That's the best way to put it. Yeah, convenience store, and racks are like 20 bucks. The ones I saw over on Amazon, they wanted like 120, 130 for these racks. I'm like, no, I don't want to spend that kind of money for a rack. It's a rack at the end of the day. You can configure and how you want to put your own parts in. My motherboard is attached by 2 screws. That's it. Actually, a little give room. Oops, little give room right here, but attached by 2 screws. And basically, it's hooked by this pipe system right here. That we're going to extend the pipe system. We're going to have it wrapping around the case, but it extends to the pipe system right here. And with the weight of the graphic card, it pushes it against this pipe right here that pushes it out. Which brings my motherboard out, so that way it stands nicely. So the card we're going to put in here, we're going to place this with, is going to be a 1660 card. It's much bigger and it has a little more weight. So the pipe system I'm going to bring down here and basically bring it down. Oh shit, I just thought about that. How do I open up the door to this thing to get back and forth in and out? Okay, that's something we're going to have to configure. So I'm probably going to have to configure the doors from, I want the panel this here and configure doors from here to here. So they open up, let's see, from here to here. Yeah, we're bringing the doors down a little farther so they open up. So I'm going to be getting in and out of this. So that's not hard to do. We just have to configure the doors for it. So you can get around it. Because I know the 1660 is a big graphic card. It's probably going to be from here, most likely. Probably from here for the starting of the board. Probably here at the most because of the case. If it was inside of a case, it would take a little bit more room. So that's definitely going to hit from there to there. It's not a problem. They can figure out how to get our doors open and to also to accommodate the giant graphic card, which you're going to build a nice pipe system from here down to here that's holds it in quite nicely. Because the 1660 is a big card, and then on top of that, it's going liquid cooled. So we definitely got to put a liquid cooling system on it too on top of that. I think we should just have one door open. Yeah, I'm going to have one door open. Because the liquid cooling system is going to drop from here. It should land right about there. Yeah. Right now, we're going to make our own panel system. Cardboard. Doesn't have to be plexiglass. We need the plexiglass because it fits quite nice. This is all plexiglass in here. Covered up with that silver insulation. And we're going to take the same silver insulation, cover these up, and make these little panels so we can basically clean all this up so it looks nice all the way around. So this actually fits quite nicely here, and then we'll have to trim it for here. At the bottom will have to be trimmed, but it fits quite nicely for right here on this side. So that covers up that. And we get some more cardboard here we're going to cut out for that too. But yeah, getting back to, I was talking to over at the post office. We're showing their PC builds over there all the time, and the guy was like, I can't put one of those together. And I'm telling you, you can do it. You can definitely do it. It's very easy to do. Not that hard. It just looks like it's complicated. It's not complicated. It's very easy to put together. It's a snap together system, pretty much. Most likely you're just memorizing parts. That's all you're doing. Just memorizing parts. You figure out, you get your board, so up with your motherboard. Your motherboard would tell you exactly what CPUs, different types of CPUs, what different types of RAM it takes. Your 2.0, or sorry, 16, your PCI Express tells you exactly what card you're going to take. If you're taking most likely a PCI Express 2.0, that's pretty much almost every card. If you're taking something like a 4.0, 3.0, one of them, AMDs have those. They have the 2.0, 4.0. Some of the higher cards will have those. More higher cards will have that. If you're running, because it'll tell you what your limitations, how much you can, what you can take and what you can't take. The board will tell you everything. And just basically very simple. This right here, that's for RAM. This right here at the bottom, that's going to be your PCI Express. This is going to be for your graphic card. Right over here, CPU, very easy. I showed you how to open it up, drop your CPU in there. It's a little tiny corner piece, like a triangle piece. It'll show the same way when you actually go to open it up, where exactly where to drop it in. You have to tap or push and just goes right in place. Liquid cooling system, very easy to attach in. Basically, you get 4-prong system. It connects to the back, and then basically you just drop in these little corks, about this big, like little tubes, and that locks it in place. Then you just drop your bracket system. It'll tell you on which pack is for AMD and which is for Intel. Once you drop your bracket system in, you tighten them down, and after that you drop your CPU and all that. It's very easy to do. We built them. I'm going to show you basically. We're going to build the sub buoy over there. That's the Deep Ocean 6. We're going to drop in vegetable oil. We'll do it again. Very easy to do. And very easy to do. The liquid cooling system pretty much goes on what you can carry in your case. That's what it comes down to. You get the 420s. The 420s are 140 millimeter fans. They're big fans. And attached to your radiator system, these things are huge. So you got to make sure you have enough room to accommodate it. Your case will tell you what you can carry and what you can't carry. You look at your case, if it says 240s, and 240s are mostly 120 millimeter fans. Like the ones we have in there. These are basically, that's right there. That's 240s. That's as big as they are, right there. So it'll tell you, and just look it up. Just look it up, or go down and Google and say, hey, what's a 240 system? It'll tell you exactly what it is. That's it. Very easy. You can build it yourself. It ain't like you got to break open a soldering gun, go to Radio Shack, get some breadboards and transistors and resistors and all that stuff and fuses and put it. No, you don't have to do that. Just go in there and just pick out the board you want. It's very easy to put the whole thing together. Next thing you know, you turn around, you have a gaming PC. Everybody knows how to install Windows XP. We've all done it before. It's just installing an operating system. You're done. That's it. Not hard to do. Once you learn it, you'll be like, gee whiz, I just built my first PC. There you go. Welcome to having a little more power than being in console. And for you console gamers at the end of the day, they want to get mad at me and say, oh, you just want to convert everybody to PC. Convert everybody to PC. You're going in that direction anyway. You know that, right? You're actually going in that direction. Like, geez, you want to convert everybody to PC. You're going in that direction already. What are you talking about? Gee whiz Louise. The only difference is the same thing about the house scenario. You bought a brand new house. I bought a brand new house. You got 20 rooms. I got 20 rooms. Difference between me and you, I can go through all 20 rooms. You can't. You only got to go in 2 rooms. There you go. That's the difference. What was it I saw on a topic I wanted to talk about here? Oh, a lot of people complain about how expensive the PlayStation is. $700. $700. That's not expensive. And not at all, period. Part on my PC. Easily. My power supply system easy can range anywhere from $100 to $600. Easy for a power supply. Depends on how much range of PC you want to build. But keep in mind, $700 is not expensive. I tell you why. You want the big boy. They're not charging you this for the simple fact of trying to be greedy. The parts cost money. You want that 4060 graphic card. You want freaking 4 terabytes of hard drive space. You want freaking of hard drive space. You want freaking 20 gigs or freaking 32 gigs. I had 20 gigs on this, now they changed it to 16. You want 32, you want 64, you want all that when it comes to memory, you want that big powerhouse, and that's what you want, then you're going to have to pay for it. This is the one that I don't understand. I see a lot of crying. Like, seriously, you're sitting there crying about a system costing too much money, but you want big boy parts. It costs money to have the big boy parts. They can't give you that for free. It's business at the end of the day. Somebody got to pay for something somewhere. So here's the thing. You can keep it at a mediocre level. You can stay there if you want. But if you want that upgrade, you're just going to have to pay for it. And that's what it comes down to. It isn't about being too expensive. Heck, I wish I could get a good PC. I can't pay for one like $700. I can literally build one for those for $700. Okay, yeah, moving on. Anyway. So, yeah, you're going to pay for that. That's what you're going to pay for. You're going to pay for more money than that. When the PS6 comes out, you're going to pay a lot more money than that. PS7 comes out, you're going to pay a lot more money for that. You're going to pay more and more money. That's what's going to come down. You think it's going to basically stay at $500 forever? No, it's going to cost more money. A lot more money. Because you're going to want to have the same thing that a PC does. And I got fanboys in there screaming and yelling, oh, we're just as good as PC, but you're going to have to pay for the parts if you want to be in that area. Right now, you're in a good section. Your machine has a 4060, equivalent to a 4060 graphic card. You got a fantastic CPU in there. The PS Pro has a really nice build to it. But you're going into some problems here. Problems you're going to run into, your case ain't big enough. Your cooling system is poor. Your system's going to overheat. It's going to burn out, stepping on a brick. It's going to have all kinds of issues. The more and more powerful parts they put in. Other big problem you're going to have at the end of the day, it's going to cost you money. And that's why y'all want your cake and you want to eat it too. That's like PC gamers at the end of the day going, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Why can't we get parts we can't get parts for cheaper? I forgot about that. We can have older parts. So there's so many parts connected to our stuff, and then they just buy cheaper parts. And then there's a whole different story. Sorry, this is a different story. With console, y'all don't have parts that go to your system. Y'all can't just mix and match and put parts. We can do that because there's so many parts. Like I said, I can grab parts from 7 years back, hook them on this machine, and they still come up too powerful. Y'all can't do that. Once y'all system's obsolete, they're worthless. It is. When that system behind me, the PS4, when they finally discontinue that, that's it. That's the end of it. Because it's made by them. That's why. It's not made by me. If it's made by me, I can go in and go, okay, graphic card obsolete. Let's go get a new graphic card. Hard drive is basically obsolete. Get a new hard drive. I can replace my parts at will. I can keep my machine going. That's why we don't have launches on PCs. Unless PC launch, here we go. No, because they build those things. That's why. I mean, they could basically make a rebuilt PC. I guess they do the PC. No, they don't have a PC launch. I just not thought about that. They don't really hype up any Alienware new hype system pretty much at the end of the day, because pretty much people are like, I'll build something like that. I don't really care. Yeah. It's truthful. Yeah, it is. I don't think about the deep part of that all, because you can build them. But anyway, long story short, yeah, I see a lot of crying on YouTube about, oh my God, it's so expensive. It's $700. Let me explain something to you. Parts, it costs money. They can't give you that for free. They got to pay for that. They're business. I don't care if they're a multi-billion-dollar business. Who cares? At the end of the day, they still have to make money. It's business. So, this is how it works. Oh, that's a tabletop one, exposed one? That is freaking hot. Got to build one of those. Anyway, oh shoot. Look at this thing. These PC builds are freaking insane. Anyway, as I said before, that's what it comes down to. You want to be like PC. You want to have the 8K capability and all that other stuff and this, that, and the other. Oh, by the way, if you have 8K capabilities, you do know you need an 8K TV to pull that off, right? Just want to put that out there real quick. Because if they your graphic card does 8K, you're going to have an 8K TV in order to see that. Anyway, unless you have high-tech screen pain, which you have to. Anyway, so, as I'm saying before, that people get mad because they're going to pay $700. It's so expensive. But you want all the high parts of PC, but you don't want the cost. That's what you're asking.
I want all the high parts. I want everything the PC has. I want to be equal to PC. We want the same thing, but I don't want to spend the money. I just don't really want to spend the money. My graphic card is almost nearly half your machine. My graphic card I'm getting for this the 4060 is $300. That's what's gonna cost me to put my graphic card in, $300. And your system is $700. So my graphic card right now is almost the majority of your machine right now by itself. The processor is $240 for the new machine I'm building. My little arcade system put together. My case is $120 for that. The RAM is roughly about $147. And getting here, you see what I'm getting at here? See what I'm getting at here? Yeah. So roughly, if you want those powerful parts, you're going to have to go in and you're going to have to pay for what they're asking from the machine. You're going to have to. The reason why you're not used to this is because your console's biggest argument point was that at least we're not expensive as PC, because PC is expensive, because PC has parts. Maybe parts can be expensive for PC. So with that being said, you're not used to paying for a machine that costs that kind of money, because you had the convenience for so long of having everything already there, already built for you, already done, and it's much cheaper. But your games are getting more and more demanding, and you want to be to keep up with the demand of high-tech games. In order to keep up with high-tech games, you're going to need more expensive and more high-tech hardware. And that hardware that's going into your machine costs money, which means they're going to charge you more money for the parts. Kind of see where it's going at? There you go. So for all the people that are sitting on YouTube complaining about a $700 machine, you need to chill, because it sounds like you're crying too much. I know we got some big people out there at the end of the day, that high influencers at the end of the day, but come on, you know what I'm talking about. Let's get real. That's what it costs. These games that are coming out now are freaking ridiculous. They're insanely good, amazing graphics, insane, but they require hardware to run them. Some of the games, console systems, I remember they made these console systems at one point, they were just too high tech. They were just too what was the game that was hard to make games for? I think it was a Saturn. It was hard to make games for it, because the way the architecture designed for it was hard to make games for it. So now, if you want these games now, the way they're designed and the way they're made, you're going to have something rendering to a PC in order to actually play some of these games you want. So it's going to cost more money. So this was going to happen. This change was going to happen sooner or later. You know what I mean? Like right now, they're making it so you basically have to download a lot of your games instead of basically playing it from a disc, because again, when you're playing from a disc, you get to sort of speed up and stuff. But I don't even know how that works right now. I don't even know why they even sold you a disc to begin with. If they're talking about all games are at one point are going to be digital download, what's the point of buying a disc? I mean, it's just it's like going backwards. You're like doing the same thing where the 360 came out with a hard drive DVD player. That didn't last long, because once the Blu-rays came out, nobody wanted the hard drives anymore, and they went obsolete. So I don't even see the point of basically buying a disc drive for what? Because the majority of most games pretty soon, or all of them already right now, are basically downloadable. But anyway, yeah, when you get back to it, that was the whole purpose of console. Everything's all together. You have good parts in there. You got good games that go along with it. You have a fantastic library, and it's more affordable than PC. PC, and if you buy it, can be a little more expensive. PC, if you build it, can be a little bit more expensive. Actually, a little more cheaper than base. I thought cheap building is much cheaper than buying. But anyway, it can get a little expensive. So, with that being said, you're just gonna you want bigger parts. Games are demanding bigger parts. You're gonna have to spend more money. That's what it's gonna come down to. These machines I have behind me, this one right here, that's $180 to put that built together. And your system's $700. Your system's more powerful than that machine right there. And it's $700. I think you're getting a really good break. This machine over here we're putting together, this thing is roughly going to probably cost me around $800 to assemble. Everything that I need on it. Now imagine if they basically put in a liquid cooling system and all the stuff hardware that I put on this machine, your machine's going to jump by a lot. This machine has 16 on it right now. I'm going to be upgrading it to 34. So I think I might just max out at 34 and be done with it. I might do that one at 34 too also. But still, again, $700. That's what you're paying for. Now the machine I'm building with the i7 in it, that's going to cost me roughly around about $1,100 to $1,200 to put together. My world is cheap. Because again, I've had PCs that I built that cost me $1,800, even about $2,000. The PCs I built that had the 2011 server board on it was a $3,000 build. Nothing was huge. But anyway, so bottom line is, if you want bigger parts for your console, you're going to have to pay the money. That's what that comes down to. That's what I said. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Gotta pay to play. That's how it is. You want the 8K capabilities, and you want all this stuff. You want to ramp and carry on. You want to be equal to PC, but you don't want to pay PC price. Finally, some justice. And I'll tell you why some justice. Because again, I'm a console player. Yes, I am. So I can see both sides of the coins. Some people, like I said, PC gamers that do console, we can see both sides of the coin. Console gamers that are strictly console, you only see one side of the coin. For the longest time, y'all been screaming and yelling at PC, talking about, oh yeah, you guys are PC master race. And my favorite part, this is my favorite one I like the most. You live in golden mansions, you cry golden tears, you know what I mean? You guys are rich, you know, you basically have these powerful machines and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it just, you got, yeah, now welcome to our world at the end of the day. We're used to this, but still, parts cost money. Well, welcome to our world. Congratulations. Now you know what it's like. Now you want to complain over a $700 system, imagine a graphic card can cost you $700. You know how much money a freaking 5090 costs? They're about $3,000 cards. If I want the big boy parts, I got to pay for the big boy parts. Now you're in that range. There's no more of that, you know, all your stuff is all together, you know what I mean? Your consoles are like 500 and 300 and 200. See, the problem is you want all those powerful parts, but you want to pay under $500 for it. Heck, I'm surprised you even got away with the PS5, to tell you the truth, to begin with. Under the 400 to 500 range, I'm really surprised you even got that. It's going to change from here on in. What you're seeing right here is the future change of your product. What you saw at $700 is going to be far worse. Oh, I forgot, it's not $700. Twice it's like $800 now, because mine, you got your taxes, so it's only about $760, $730, depending on where you're at. And then consider the fact, if those of you who want the disc player, that's $80. That's if you can get your hands on it. That's a whole other nightmare in itself. And then you have to basically pay for the stand. For those of you who like to stand your system up, that's an extra $30. I think the nickel and dime you on that one. I was pretty checked up. Could at least gave you the stand. I mean, come on, it's a stand. I could have gave it to you. It's a stand. But anyway, that's their business on the other end. But as for the parts and stuff, you got to pay for those parts. And it's going to get much worse than that. What you're seeing here at $700 is called being set up for the serve. And he spiked that ball, and it nails you clean in the face. You'll see a gaming system finally will be reaching almost near $1,000. Well, I forgot, you did it already at $1,000. You got a PlayStation Anniversary, $1,000 machine. Well, does this make it now up to roughly around $1,200 to $1,300 for a console? Which I find kind of interesting. And I'll tell you where. The Neo Geo is $1,000 system. And they have anywhere near the power your system has. But the Neo Geo had a full-size arcade board in it. Which again, at that particular time, the arcade was all the rage. I wonder if arcades stayed intact. They would have the games that we have now on console would actually be in arcades and PC. That'd be interesting to watch. So we need to bring it back out of arcade. But you can't go back to the 80s kind of thing, because that doesn't even last. It doesn't do this anymore. That's what it comes down to. But I'm not talking about, see, let's not get me mixed up. Because people get mad at me and say, well, you're talking about all console? No, I just literally just sat there and said that people play PC and console, see both sides of the coin. It's the people individual who only think console, and they get mad at the end of the day because they're paying this $700 range. But yet you want powerful parts, and you want better games. You want games to be able to do all these things at the end of the day. Well, when you want games to want to do all these little things in the day, that requires powerful hardware to get it to work. Because I'm going to explain something to you. Can't just go over to your system and rub it, and then something pops out and gives you 3 wishes. It's not going to work that way. You're going to have to pay for the parts. That's how it works. And the more powerful these games become, the more expensive the parts are going to get. But that's not your biggest problem. That's nowhere near your biggest problem. Your biggest problem is scalpers. That's your biggest problem. Because no point in basing them. At one point, you got to consider the fact that who are they building games for now? It's going to get to that point. That's going to set in pretty soon. Who are they really building games for now? Are they building games for you? Or are they building for the scalpers? Because at this point, to tell you the truth, they can pretty much charge whatever they want for a console system. You don't have to worry about your fan base not buying it. Scalper will buy it. And that's when it really gets down to it. I mean, I'm just getting to the topic about people complaining about a $700 price mark, but you want powerful parts. But then they're saying that the parts inside of it are not worth it. They're not worth the parts at all, period. When you break it down, you're not really getting what's worth $700. You got a 4060 in there. Equivalent to a 4060. That's roughly $300 for that right there. I'm paying $300 for one. I don't know. I've never seen so much controversy over a console. Over consoles. It's insane. It's like a drama party, 24/7. It is. But that's not your biggest concern. Your biggest concern is not more powerful parts. Your biggest concern is not the cost of the system. Your biggest concern is the scalper. That is going to be your number one biggest concern from here on in, and decides the future of your system. If these guys get to the end of the day, or people who are developing these systems, that's like dealing with a third party. You're dealing with literally a third party. You think about that. Before, it used to go right from them to you. Now it's going to go right from them to the scalper to you. That's literally what it's going to come down to. You have moved down the pecking order. The scalpers get them first, and then you get them after the scalpers get them. You know what the scalpers is going to charge. Because if you look at it, that's the pattern. They hit the daylights out of the PS5. They did. They hit the daylights out of it. You know how hard it was to get a PS5? You know how long you had to wait for one of those things? And then being so rare, being so hard to get, store owners were stealing them. You can go on freaking YouTube, you can watch all kinds of videos on people getting busted by the cops for stealing freaking PlayStation units because they were selling them for a lot more money. So, you get the system, and your biggest concern is the scalper. The scalper has more money, the scalper is quicker, he's faster, he can get the system faster than you can. But you have to buy from him. And you know what's going to cost if you buy from him. It's going to cost you more money than you've ever paid for a console system ever. Like, some of you literally bought cars. So, that's one part you got to worry about right there. Now, next part after that you're going to have to deal with is the fact, you know, they already know about the scalpers. PlayStation knows about the scalpers because you know why they know about the scalpers? They sat there and said that there was going to be a certain way that you can only buy the 30th anniversaries. You would have to be able to log into your account. You have to have a PlayStation account. Remember? So that means they know about the scalpers. They're well aware of them. I don't know how they're not. I really don't. You know what I mean? They got people who are on PlayStation. The USB is not. I'm not using a USB for that. You got people on. Make sure it's charging this thing. There we go. You got people on PlayStation. They got YouTube accounts and all that. They know what they are. They know scalpers are existing. So they know they're there. So your biggest problem you're going to have to worry about is the fact that now, at what point, who are they designing the game systems for? Because if I'm dealing with the scalpers, I'm dealing with a 100% guarantee my games are going to sell out. I'm going to have a high number of buyers, a high number of marks of showing how many machines I sold. Because everybody knows that's about concept in the day. Who sold the most machines? Who made the most money? That's what it comes down to. They are guaranteed to get that. If I go out here and I sell my system for $1,000, I'm guaranteed for it to sell. And it did. The 30th anniversary was $1,000. They bought every single one of them. All right then. So, next stage is, wow, they paid $1,000 for that system, man. They bought every single one of them. What if the next one we charge roughly about $1,300 for it? PlayStation 6. We'll give us some really crazy parts in it, basically about it. Not too expensive because they got to make some money. And we'll charge that. We don't have to worry about the customers. The scalpers will come and buy them all up. Like, what are we doing? And they have to deal with the scalpers. That's all. Yeah, there you go. That's where you're living. That's where you're heading at right now. And for those who sit there and say, oh no, but they would never do that because they're all for the people. All right, I guess you get your mail out of rocks, so I guess that's where you'll be at, because that's where you'll be, under a rock, because that's what's going to happen. Watch it. Mark my words when the system comes out. Am I hoping this happens? No. I ain't hoping it happens at all, period. I hope that basically you make it so that you mandatory to walk into a store and pick one up with ID. That would be nice. But now, since it's going to be online, you're not going to happen. And it's funny because you watch this happen to the PS5. And then you're going to turn around and watch this happen. You watch it happen to the PS5 Pro 30th anniversary. Snatched them all up. And then, when November the 7th hits, they're going to snatch up every single one of the regular ones at PS Pro. And they're going to stock them up and get ready to sell them off for the Black Friday sales and for Christmas. And you're going to go through the same nightmare that you went through with the first system. And when the PS6 comes out, they're going to snatch all of those too. And the same process is going to repeat itself. And watch the corporations do nothing about it. Because they're not going to, the scalpers are not going to complain about price. The fan base is. The fan's going to complain about price. They complained about the system being $1,000. Did that stop scalpers from buying it? No, they bought every last one of them. Did they make their money? Yes, they did. They made their money. The only people ain't happy is the people who had $1,000 to pay for it and couldn't get it because the scalpers took them first. Didn't they have one per person? That's what they put in there, right? What happened? That didn't work too well, did it? That was an absolute disaster. Didn't even work. So, that's what's going to happen. That's the future of console. It's going to come down to basically they can charge. I'm just saying speculation. I'm not saying that it is. And don't do this, but it was me in business, and say I basically just was in it to make that money, okay? And I knew that I had scalpers that were hitting my system. They were buying all my stuff up. Yeah, I roughly could charge like $1,300 for a unit. I could. Because if you guys don't buy it, they'll buy it. And you still have to buy it sooner or later, because if we discontinue the next console, we have the system over there, or your PS5, and we no longer support it, and we only support the PS6, then you're going to have no choice but to buy it, or not game at all. Do you see the squeeze point here in the strategy of business here? I see it a mile away coming. But it's just speculation. It's just off the top of my head at the end of the day. They can force you to buy the system. That's why I told you, today more and more console gamers are going to be leaning toward PC. Now this could backfire. This could end up killing console altogether. Console gamers can end up turning PC gamers. We're going in that direction anyway. And then scalpers are going to be upset because now they can't go buy the consoles anymore because nobody really wants them anymore. So they basically just leave that alone because there's no point. You can't buy anybody, no one buy the system, and Sony's going to go out of business, or Sony's not going to go out of business because they got the stuff they sell. And they're just going to pull out the console game, and everybody's going to be on PC, and they can't do it to PC because there's just too many freaking parts. I mean, you hold hostage a 5090? No, I don't care. I can get 81. My systems are running right now 1050s in them right now. They're running perfectly fine on 1050s. So if I were to go in and just get basically a RTX 580, 680, every one of them, or maybe a 2070, 2080 graphic card, or maybe a 3080 or 3090, there's too many cards. There you go. Ain't no way in the world. So yeah, knock yourself out on that one. There are different forms of motherboards, cases, RAM, hard drives. Yeah, good luck with that. So that's not going to happen. I mean, different ways we're going to build these machines. It's not even funny. So that's why I said, get yourself into building machines, building your own computers, because the nightmare scenario I just brought up could easily happen. Every time they design a system, if they charge too much money for it, they know they have to deal with the fan base. The fan base doesn't want to spend the money. But if you want to be able to have the more powerful games, and you want your game to look fantastic, you got to spend the money. But they don't want to spend the money, but they want the powerful parts. And if we're at the point, if we have to suffer the wrath of the fans on buying our systems, we're going to lose money. But the scalpers, when they come in, they say, you know, we don't care if your system costs $1,000. We're going to buy every last one of them. We're going to make money off these. We're going to resell them back to your fans, because that's what they're going to do. And then you, as a fan, are going to be now have no choice. You can sit there and go, well, I can just go back to the PS5. But what if they turn around and they basically stop supporting the PS5? Or the PS5 Pro for the PS6? And you're going to say on an outdated system, because that system at the end of the day, I can still download and buy stuff for it at the end of the day. It's still active, but they can basically kill it altogether. It doesn't lock to the servers or anything. So again, either going to play that older model over there, or you can't go online, you can't game, you can't play, you can't download, none of that stuff is all cut off when your system goes off, because you pay to go on their server, to go on their network. And PC doesn't have that issue. We don't pay for Steam. We pay for stuff we run on Steam. That's it. So you're going to be forced to deal with the scalpers until they figure to let it go. When they're not interested in it no more, they let it go. You don't see them scalping the PS5s anymore, do you? Not really, no. You made the money off of it. They're done with it. Now the new systems are coming out. The PS Pro, they're hitting that. Yep. So that's the future of console. And for those people sitting there saying, "Oh, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. You're going through it right now. What are you talking about?" You're literally going through it right now. Scalpers are taking all your stuff.